Hey, BJ, my thing is called Very Basic Bible. It has been months since I did a video for some reason, but we're going to continue on going through Ruth. If I'm like, hey, wait, share screen, I don't remember how to do that. Wait, change Bible versions, I don't remember how to do that. You know why. But to hit up the book of Ruth, right where we left off, been going slowly, meticulously through the book of Ruth. We went through chapter 3. I noticed in like 2 videos, no good. I might go back and hit some stuff on chapter 3. Need more on chapter 3. All right, here we go, guys. Share screen. There we go. My super grainy picture and face just got tiny. I look a little better now. Who wants to see my face anyway? Here we go. I remember we've gone through chapter 4, verses 1 through like 11 or 12, like 4, 5, 6 times. Feel like it went over and over and over. So okay. We'll start. Let's see. Did you witness this today? Yeah, I thought I would inform. Boaz is informing the kinsman redeemer. Here's some land. There's Ruth the Moabite. You know, the redeemer's like, I can't take the land if I've also got to marry Ruth the Moabite. Boaz is like, I'll take Ruth the Moabite and the land. There we go. I also acquire Ruth the Moabite. They get married. They live happily ever after. Blah, blah, blah. The end. Story's over. All right, but there's more to go. We have, okay. But, okay, the end. Story's over. That's kind of true. But they're very dramatic about it. They're like, oh, may you prosper. Look at this. All those at the gate, including the elders, said, we do. Okay, right here. Boaz, I also acquired Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, as my wife, in order to raise up a family for her late husband on his estate, so that the name of the deceased, that is Mahlon, may not perish from his people and his place. Do you witness this today? And actually, the name of the deceased would not necessarily be Mahlon, because Mahlon had a brother named Chilion, and his name would be deceased also. Well, that's no fair. So Orpah was married to Chilion. Mahlon was married, Ruth was married to Mahlon. Well, I guess they go find Orpah. Orpah stayed back in Moab. Well, that's no good. Let's go search for Moab, for Orpah, so we can get a family going. The family name is probably Elimelech. Since it's been a while since we've been in chapter. And Ruth, let's see. Ruth 1. I mean, me personally. Now, it came about in the days when the judges governed, that there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem in Judah went to reside in the land of Moab with his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech. His wife Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. This is Ruth chapter 1, right? Telling us how the story starts. Ephrathites of Bethlehem in Judah. So they entered the land of Moab and remained there. Then Elimelech, named his husband, died. That I'm proposing is the name of the dead man right here. Elimelech. Where is it at? So the name of the deceased may not perish. The name of the one was Orpah. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. Her 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. And they, the 2 sons, took for themselves Moabite women as wives. The name of the one was Orpah, that would be Chilion, and the name of the other, Ruth. It doesn't tell us here who was married to who, but it tells us right over here. I also acquired Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon. Could Boaz have been mistaken? Possibly. What if Ruth is standing there going, no, my husband is Chilion. No. But, Ruth of Boaz probably knows about the situation, probably talked to Ruth more than we have recorded, probably heard about Ruth, probably knows that it's Mahlon. So Mahlon's married to Ruth. So are they going to raise the name of the deceased just for Mahlon? Well, what happens to poor Chilean? Orpah, Chilean, okay. Let's see. They raised their voices and wept. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. All right. Naomi says she arose with her daughter-in-law to return from the land of Moab, because she heard in the land of Moab that the Lord had visited Jerusalem in Israel, or Bethlehem, Israel, by giving them food. So she departed from the place where she was and her two daughters-in-law, and they went on their way to the land of Judah. Sweet. So she's going to return. But Mahlon and Chilion also died. So Elimelech died, Mahlon and Chilion dies. Ruth, Orpah, and Naomi, the mother-in-law, are going to return to Jerusalem. Are going to return to Israel, not Jerusalem. Going to return to the land of Judah. All right. In Bethlehem. Okay. Naomi said to her two daughters-in-law, Naomi says to Orpah and Ruth, go return each of you to your mother's house, to Moab. Go back to Moab. Okay. Right here. Verse 11. But Naomi said, return my daughter. However, the daughters said to her, verse 10, no, but we will return with you to your people. Naomi said, return my daughters. Please go back to Moab. No, Mom, we're going to come with you. No, you're going to go up to Moab. They raised their voices and wept again. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. Orpah kissed her, but Ruth clung to her. Orpah, what's this? Then Naomi said, how do you notice Naomi? Behold, your sister-in-law. Okay. So Naomi says to Ruth, hey, your sister-in-law just left, went back, has gone back to her people and her gods. Return after your sister-in-law. So where's Orpah? She goes back to Moab. The last we hear of Orpah. That's it. So if the name of the deceased was only Mahlon, right there, that would suck for Chilion. As we've done in the notice in the Bible study over and over again, you want your family name to continue. Somehow you want it to continue. How? Sometimes it's through a son. Sometimes it's through a son's son. Sometimes it's through a kinsman redeemer who marries a daughter-in-law from a foreign land of one of the sons of the dad, and the dad's name is continued. So there's two sons, their name is continued through the dad. Was that confusing? You want your name to continue, right? That's why you buy land. But every 7 years, every 50 years, the land goes back to the original owner. You could sell your land. You can rent your land out. Every 50 years, the year of Jubilee, the land's supposed to go back to the owner. Land is very permanent. A house you can destroy. Trees, rocks, they can be, even rocks, yeah, they can be obliterated, right? Trees can go away, water can dry up, people die. But the land, the earth, never goes away. Right? Land helps people. This was my father's land, right? You want your name to be permanent, so they attach it to permanent things like the land. That's why all the earth is the Lord's. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. His name is attached to the earth. Yep. Land never goes away. You live on the land. I mean, Boaz, you can see here, you want your name to continue. How do you get your name to continue? I wanted you to hear this and to tell you sitting in front of everyone here, including the eldest of my people. What is Boaz going to tell them? If you will take possession of the land, where is it at? They settled down and Boaz spoke to the kinsman. Naomi, who has returned from the region of the Moabites, is selling part of a field of our brother Elimelech. Part of a field of our brother Elimelech. Not literal brother, probably. Brother as in like relative. All right. Selling part of a field of our brother Elimelech. Okay. He is a kinsman redeemer. So they are very close relatives to Elimelech. So it doesn't tell us how close, I don't think. If you watch my older videos, older to me, you might find a place that's close where I say, oh, we figured it out and such. I have to go through and rewatch my own videos. But hey, this is very basic Bible study, right? We're not going to remember everything. I don't, obviously. Okay, here we go. So, selling part of a field. I want you to hear this to tell you in front of everyone. If you will take possession of the field by right of kinship, buy the field. If it displeases you, you should reveal this to me so that I will know what I have to do, because I can buy it. Why? There is no kinsman besides you who is before me. All right, I will buy the field. Boaz said, when buying the field, you are likewise obliged to accept the hand of Ruth the Moabite, who was the wife of the deceased. Wait, I thought he was selling a field from Elimelech. Ruth is through Mahlon. What about Chilion? Well, Orpah's in another land. She's of another religion. She's not Israelite. She's a Moabite. She's of whatever Moabite religion was over there. Whatever religion they are in Moab, that's her religion. I mean, it's been a little while. I'm not sure how long. It said when the barley season starts. So in chapter 2, Ruth starts gleaning behind people to pick up grain and stuff. So long enough, however long harvests last, I guess. It's been a little while, weeks, months, days, maybe. Weeks, months, days, weeks, months, maybe. Okay. Let's go back and find Orpah. We need to get Mahlon. Well, it's like, hey, what if we take Ruth, who is an Israelite, I marry her? She's related to Mahlon by marriage. Mahlon, Chilion's brother. Mahlon is Elimelech's son, and Naomi, Elimelech's wife, is still here. I mean, hey, we could do this. We're trying to get as close to the source as possible. In this case, who is the source? Elimelech. They really want to get as close to the source as possible. One of them could have had a bright idea and said, hey, let's go search for Orpah so we can get both Mahlon and Chilion. But I doubt they would do that because, like I say, she's way over there. She's joined herself to another religion. She stayed in that religion. I mean, it'd be difficult, is my assumption. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to walk that far. Maybe probably something else that I would never think of because I wasn't back in time. All I have to go by is the text on the screen. All I have to go by is what they left us in our Bible. So really, we're doing a lot of speculation right now. But the thing we can be diehard on is they want the family name to continue. Okay. Right here. Where's it at? He said to the eldest and to all the people. Hey, let's go back over here. Okay. Boaz said to the elders and to all the people, you are witnesses today that I have acquired from Naomi all the holdings of Elimelech, Chilion, and Mahlon. Okay. I also acquired Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Naomi, as my wife. So I collect all the land, the houses, the inheritance, and Ruth the Moabite. Okay, good. So we're trying not to call Ruth like, hey, you're just one of his pieces of property. All right. In order to raise up a family for her late husband on his estate, so that on his estate, Elimelech, he's the fountainhead. He's the source of the spring and the waters of Mahlon and Chilion, and now Ruth and Boaz, they're flowing out, right? He's the mouth of the river. In the south, we're like, hey, let's go to the mouth of the river, the beginning. So the name of the deceased may not perish from his people and his place. Do you witness this today? All those at the gate, including the elders, said, oh, we do. May the Lord make this woman come into your house like Rachel and Leah. We read that last time, or 2, 3 times, or several times, who built between them the house, between them built up the house of Israel. Prosper in Ephrathah, bestow a name of Bethlehem, because they live in a town called Bethlehem, Ephrathah, which I think we looked up Bethlehem Ephrathah a while back, and there was a guy named Ephrathah or Epaphra who then settled in something like that. Let's look that up real quick. Why not? Ephrathah. Repetition is key. Okay, starts in Ruth. Look at that. No good. Oh, wait. Chronicles. Okay. First Chronicles has genealogies. Genealogies tells you this person married this person, married this person, married this person. It could shed some light. My eye. What is that? All right. Look at that. After the death of Hezron and Caleb, Ephrathah. Oh, look. These were the sons of Caleb, the sons of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah. After death of Hezron in Caleb, there's Ephrathah. And Ephrathah, they're both connected kind of to Caleb. Oh, look. Sons of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah. These were the sons of Caleb, the sons of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah. Okay. Now, this Ephrathah is Lord. Now, why are we talking about these without going there? Like, BJ, I'm confused. That's a very basic Bible. Okay. Let's go real quick. Let's go full chapter, Chronicles chapter 1. Over here. Here we go. Genealogy from Adam. Adam was the very first guy in the book of Genesis, right? You go back to Genesis, God creates man and woman, and God gives the man a name, Adam. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to put you in a deep sleep. Here's your woman, Eve. Yeah, there we go. Adam and Eve, first people on earth. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Watch this. Genesis. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Close. Oh, yeah. Bible Gateway. Kind of like we went through a kinsman redeemer several times. We went through fields, barley, gleaning. We went through that several times, I think. We went through at the gates. They said at the gates. They had the elders. They had these people. We went through that several times. We go through some of these things several times because back then this is a normal everyday part of life for them. We need to get to the point of this being, BJ, you've talked about that. BJ, we've heard about that. BJ, why are you saying that again? If you finally get to that point and you can basically be like, every word I say, oh, I knew that's what you're, oh, I knew that. Oh, I knew that. And then you go to another book of the Bible and you read it, not having to think of what I'm teaching, but you read it naturally knowing it. You go to another book of the Bible and you're reading stuff, and then you don't even notice you're thinking about, you don't notice what you're thinking about, but you are thinking about, oh, there's a kinsman redeemer relationship. Oh, there's because of the land and they want their name to continue. Or that's why they have these names. Or I remember that from the book of Genesis. Or there's the genealogy that could help out. You don't even notice you're thinking about it. That's what we want. That's why we go over it over and over again. All right. Genesis 1. Now remember, Chronicles, I'm saying, they start at the very beginning. This genealogy, this record of people who have sons, and their sons have sons, and their sons have sons who have sons. And yes, it's all sons, boys, males. That's the way it is. It'll name a few females in some genealogies. We're going back to the very beginning in First Chronicles. Here we go. Beginning the heaven and the earth in the beginning. Very first book of the Bible. God saw the light. God called the light good. Then God said, let there be this. God made the expanse. God said, let the waters. God said, let there be lights in the expanse. God said, let the waters. Oh, look at that. So you got the land, the expanse, the waters, the land, expanse, waters. And God said, produce, let us make mankind in their image. Control F. Adam. No Adam yet. Adam, right there. 1 second, guys. I'm going to try to hide this. Hide video. Oh, I hid the wrong thing. Show video panel. Okay. How do I hide? There we go. All right. There was a thing at the bottom of the screen blocking part of my screen. I don't think y'all could see it, but it was blocking part of my screen. All right. The man gave to her, but for Adam, so it doesn't tell us. It just so we know the first man's name was Adam, the man. Where God said it's not for good for the man to be alone. I'll make him a helper. Okay. I don't know why it doesn't tell us. I thought somewhere it told us God called him Adam. Here we go. For Adam, there was not found a helper suitable for him. So God makes Eve, brought her to the man, and the Lord fashioned into a woman. Okay. First Chronicles, Adam, then Seth, then Enosh. Let's see, can we find Seth? What going on? Control F. You see at the bottom there? Seth. No Seth in this chapter because it's red. Now look at the bottom. Hit enter. Oh. Adam had relations with his wife again. She gave birth to a son, named him Seth. So up here, if you look, Cain and Abel were also Adam and Eve's sons. Now the man had relations with his relations. Bow chicka wow. They had sex. And she conceived and gave birth to Cain. She said, I've attained a male child with the help of the Lord. Why is Cain not in first right here? Now, this all stems from the book of Ruth. We're looking at a genealogy. And I said, wait, Ephrathah and Bethlehem. Let's check that out real quick. We go over here. We find Bethlehem. And we find the name Ephrathah. Let's see. You'll hear people say it, Bethlehem Ephrathah, which is fine. Oh, that's Ephrathah. Ephrathah, right here. We went to First Chronicles because it has the genealogies. So we got Ephrathah. Oh, we got an H right there. Okay, so we went there. Then went to First Chronicles. We started looking, and I'm like, hey, here's a genealogy works. Adam to Seth. But look, she gave birth to Cain. Should not that be Adam to Cain to Seth? Why Seth? Seth goes to Enosh. Why Enosh? You think maybe Seth had more than one? If Adam had, let me see. And again, she gave birth to his brother Abel. So Adam and Eve had a son named Cain, a son named Abel. Oh, look at this. Cain had relations with his wife as she conceived, gave birth to Enoch. CH. Cain built a city, named the city Enoch after his son. Now to Enoch was born Arad. And Arad fathered Mehujael. And Mehujael fathered Methuselah. Methuselah fathered Lamech. Look over here. Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech. But Adam, Seth with one son. Did Adam now Seth? This is kind of strange. Cain's son, who is not in here. Cain is not here. But who are Cain's sons? Enoch, Methuselah, eventually Lamech. So this genealogy is a little suspect. Adam, Seth, is it saying Adam is Seth's son? It doesn't say that, does it? Right here, the sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Yevtulah. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Diphthah, Togarmah. The sons of Javan. So Japheth had a son named Gomer. Gomer had these kids. Japheth had a son named Javan. Javan had these kids. Wait, Japheth had a son named Gomer and a son named Javan. Gomer had all these kids. Javan had all these kids. But Japheth also had Magog, Meda, Tubal, Meshech, Tiras. Why aren't they in the genealogy here? Maybe they're lower. Maybe it'll tell us about Japheth's sons down here. I'm going to type in Control F. I'm going to type in at the bottom left. Japheth. One of two matches right here. You see it? Okay. Japheth. Japheth. That's it. That's all we get about Japheth. Skips all of Japheth's sons except for Gomer and Javan. Now, other places in the Bible, I believe it could, we hear a name Magog, I know in Ezekiel. That might not be the same Magog, but we hear that. I think Tubal, there's a guy named Tubal Cain somewhere in the Bible. I think he's in Genesis. So, but that's Tubal Cain. We might hear though, but it's only focusing on Gomer and Javan. Why? I don't know. We can ask him when we get to heaven. We can be like, so you wrote the Chronicle, the book that we call Chronicles, right? Oh yeah, that was me. So why'd you do this? You know, we can just go up to God and be like, hey, why did you? Oh, really? God might be like, don't worry about it. All right, now we're learning, right? So let me take a drink of water. So did they have perfect Spitfire genealogies? I have no idea what Spitfire. Perfectly on spot genealogies. Doesn't seem that way. But no, the Bible has to be exact. Seems exact. This didn't say that Adam's son Seth, Seth had Enosh, and Seth had Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel. It doesn't say who had who. I mean, who's Jared? Who is Mahalalel? You know, we look at Genesis 4 again. The Lord said to him, therefore, whoever kills Cain, because Cain killed Abel. Abel didn't have no kids. We're not told about at least. So, but it does say whoever kills Cain. So that means there must have been a bunch of people running around. A bunch. There must have been enough people running around that Cain's worried. So maybe Abel did have kids before he died. I don't know. You know, it doesn't tell us about Abel. It doesn't tell us in the genealogy about Abel. It doesn't tell us about Cain. But Cain's kids, Cain had relations with his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to Enoch. Adam, Seth, Enoch. Cain built a city and named the city Enoch after his son. Now, there's another Enoch, or maybe this is the same Enoch. We'll look in a minute. Enoch was born Irad, the father of Mehujael fathered Methuselah fathered Lamech. Okay. Methuselah, let's look over here. First Chronicles. Adam, Seth, Enosh. Where's it at? There's no Enosh here. Okay. Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech. Enoch and Methuselah and Lamech, it seems, are sons of Cain. But Cain's not in the genealogy. Like, why do they do that? I don't know. Why do they skip around? You know, it's not telling us who the son of whoever was. Down here, it starts saying son of this and that. But right here, goes rather quickly. Let's see if we can find some more names. Adam and Zillah are Lamech's wife. Okay. Adam had relations with his wife again. She gave birth to a son, named him Seth. So Seth was way down after Cain. And Seth is, you know, let's see, did Seth give birth? Okay, God has appointed me another child in place of Abel. Okay, because Cain killed Abel. To Seth also a son was born. His name was Enosh. So Seth's son is Enosh. But Enoch, Methuselah, and Lamech seem to be Cain's son, who is not in the genealogy. You know. So, they keep these genealogical records just however, I guess. All right. This is the book of the generations of Adam, a genealogy. Okay, the generations of is not necessarily genealogy, but it tells you how you get what's a generation? A generation of the people that come after you, the people and stories that come after you. So this is the book about this whole book. I thought it was a book of Genesis, right? Well, the word book probably doesn't, Adam didn't sit down and write out a book. Adam didn't write it out. Whoever did Genesis, which Moses is attributed. Jesus says, hey, Moses wrote the Pentateuch, right? Moses wrote the Pente, 5. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, 5. We're told, Jesus like, hey, Moses wrote that. So, hey, Moses wrote it, right? Or somebody Moses knew. Somebody wrote it Moses' name. Moses gave them the notes and they wrote it. Oh, yeah, however it works. Moses was the contributor, the head person. He could have written it down. There are some people like, no, Moses, he took pen and put it to paper, period. Okay. Whoever wrote it called it, this part of it, a book, a section, a chapter. Oh, wait, chapters in the Bible, huh? We're reading a book right now, a really long book called Les Miserables. It's got parts, sections, and chapters. I believe that's how it goes. There's 5 parts, there's a bunch of sections in each part, and there's a ton of chapters in each section. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes. They call this part a book. Don't get that confused with this is whoever Moses and whoever wrote the book. They call this whole chapter 5, probably for a while. Chapter 6, 8, 10, 12, a lot of chapters, they called it a book. They say this next part coming up, they called it a book. The Bible writers, they didn't necessarily section it off like we do today. We're like, we need chapters with points and subpoints and subheadings. They didn't necessarily do that. Okay. It's much more subjective. So whenever they say book, he's not talking about the book of Genesis. I just got really close to the mic and say, oh, they're not talking about the book of Genesis. He's just talking about this part of the story. Okay. This exact part, like I said, it could go on for the next chapters, which they of the Bible. They didn't have the chapters in the Bible, right? Very subjective. There are parts in the Bible where in the New Testament where a guy says, Jesus himself says, is talking to the Sadducees, and he's like, hey, what about the Sadducees? Asked Jesus a question. Jesus says, have you not read your Bible in the burning bush passage where God says to Moses, the burning bush passage? Why not just say in Exodus chapter 2, 3, which chapter is the burning bush passage? Because they didn't have books and chapters. They had scrolls they would put stuff on, right? They would be like the burning bush passage. Everybody knew where that was. In the book of Hebrews, the author of Hebrews is writing, he says, it is said somewhere, and then he starts quoting from some of the prophets. It is said somewhere. Matthew, in the book of Matthew, says, as the prophet Zephaniah, as the prophet Jeremiah writes, and he quotes from Zechariah. So Matthew says, as the prophet Jeremiah writes, then he quotes from Zechariah. Wait a minute. Zechariah is not Jeremiah, right? From what I've been told from scholars, is that they often put a bunch of stories together in one scroll. So you got the scroll of Jeremiah, and underneath it will be, you got the scroll with all Jeremiah stuff. And then you keep going on the scroll, you'll eventually see, say, Malachi, you'll see Zechariah, you'll see Jonah. Okay. So on the scroll of Jeremiah, there's Zechariah. We can quote that. There we go. It's confusing, subjective. They didn't mind as much back then. So now we say the book of the generations, just like, this is a far cry from Ruth, isn't it? We've already seen a lot of places in Ruth where it's very subjective. Wait, I thought he was the son of him. Wait, what about his son? Wait, how can you be the kinsman redeemer? You're not related to him. Okay. Joseph's dreams. All right. Genesis 37. So we're in Genesis 5. This is the generations of Adam. A whole long time. I'm not going to say chapters, because when the author of Genesis was writing the book, he wasn't writing in chapters. But a long time later in the story, the author of Genesis is writing. Then, okay, first he's writing Genesis at the beginning. Then he says, hey, here's the book of the generations of Adam. He writes about Abraham, writes about Isaac, writes about Jacob. And he gets to this part and he writes, now Jacob lived in the land where his father had lived. His father is Isaac. Jacob lived in the land where his father had lived as a stranger, the land of Canaan. These are the records of the generations of Jacob. Now here, the records of the italics. Why do they do that? They are assuming this is the book of the generations of Adam. These are the records of the generations of Jacob. The generations of Jacob, the people comes after Jacob. Who are the people come after Jacob? Well, Joseph. Joseph and his brothers. Joseph, okay, now Israel, Jacob, that is. Now Jacob and Israel, the same person. Now Israel / Jacob loved Joseph more than all his other sons. Oh, there's other sons. There's his generation. It also talks about Joseph's kids a little later on. Okay, and Jacob takes Joseph's kids as his own. So it's talking about the generations after him. Seems to only be 2 generations. It seems to be his son. Jacob's generations are all of his sons, and then Joseph's grandkids, Joseph's kids. It's just 2 generations. But then it goes straight into Exodus and to Moses. Maybe that's generations also. Yeah. The book of the generations of Adam. Let's look at this genealogy. When Adam had lived, so we could even call, in the book of Ruth, we could call this the generations of Elimelech. Yeah. We could call it the generations of Elimelech. It's talking about, that's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Oh, excuse me. For 1 second, guys. Uh-oh. There's something. Oh, escape. Okay, 49 minutes. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, Control Alt Shift H. There we go. The little, whenever I hit Control Alt Shift H, the little panel down here that y'all don't see, it disappears. So there's a little bike. What's that bike gonna do? UCI BMX World Championship. Okay, pretty cool. I guess. I like trail running, so I often look up bike trails because they're fun, because they go up, down, up, down. Now, some of them are like, hey, for bikes only. Some of them don't run the trail when it's wet because it gets all muddy, and you put feet prints all in the trail, and the bike's driving in feet prints. They build little bridges and they build little stumps of wood to jump their bike off of. I don't run on those because those are for the bikes, but trail running. You're running, and then you run down, then you run up a hill, then you run sideways on the hill, then you have to duck under a tree. Kind of fun. Okay. Back to the Bible. Hold on. So why this genealogy? Who's Bethlehem and Ephrathah? Why are we looking that up? We go over here. We look Ephrathah up. It's in Chronicles. We go to Chronicles. We find out all this stuff for the genealogy. So we kind of look up stuff for the genealogy in Genesis. Okay. So we notice that these names don't all follow an exact order, maybe from father to son, but they are generations of Adam. Noah we recognize. All right. When Adam had lived 130 years, he fathered a son in his own likeness, according to his image, and named him Seth. Then the days of Adam fathered Seth were 800 years. Adam lived a long time before the flood. After the flood and before the Exodus, God started going, they started living less. God's like, I can't handle you people. You're driving me nuts. All right. All the days that Adam lived, 930 years, and he died. Now Seth, 105 years, fathered Enosh. The days of Seth were 912 years. He died. Now Enosh fathered Canaan. Let's go look over here. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan. Oops. Now Canaan fathered Mahalalel. Mahalalel fathered Jared. Jared fathered Enoch. Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch. From Seth. But Cain. These people came from Cain, I thought. Interesting. Because remember, I'm going to have to ask about this over on some Facebook groups. That Cain gave birth to Enoch. Enoch was born Irad. Irad born Mehujael. Methuselah. Methuselah fathered Lamech. So we've at least got Cain giving birth to some kids, and then Methuselah and Lamech. Methuselah and Lamech. Seth fathered Enosh, who fathered Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, who fathered Enoch, Methuselah. So there could be more than one person named Methuselah and Lamech. That could be easy. I mean, lots of people were named the same things. I know lots of BJs, tons of them. In the Bible, tons of people named the same. Could be it. Let's keep reading. So take Enoch, which is a different Enoch than that one. Because that Enoch comes after all those guys. So see, there's the same guy's name, born to Cain. But this Enoch seemed to be born to Jared. If you go to Genesis 5, Canaan lived Mahalalel. Jared lived 100. Jared fathered Enoch. But Cain fathered Enoch. Or Enoch. Too many chapters. Oh. Go back one chapter. Cain fathered Enoch. Yep. Enoch was born. Now the Enoch was born Irad. To Irad Mehujael. Mehujael fathered Methuselah. Okay. So the city was named Enoch. So who's this Enosh character? Seth. Let's go down. Genesis 5. Let's compare the genealogies. Seth fathered Enosh. Okay. Enosh fathered Canaan. That's what matches here. Seth, Enosh, Canaan. Canaan fathered Mahalalel. Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech. Let's see. Mahalalel fathered Jared. Jared fathered Enoch. Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech. Enoch fathered Methuselah. Then Enoch walked with God. Yep, pretty cool. Methuselah fathered Lamech. Lamech fathered Noah. Noah is pretty important. Noah was 500 years old. Noah fathered Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Over here. Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So even here, even if we're like, okay, so that that same Enoch is not the same Enoch as Cain's. Right after Adam should come Cain, but Cain had a son named Enoch, but it's not this Enoch. And Cain had a son named Methuselah and Lamech, but it's not the same Methuselah and Lamech because Seth had a son named Methuselah and Lamech, right? So Cain had a son named Enoch, and then later he had grandsons or whatever, Methuselah and Lamech. But Seth had a grandson named Enoch, or great grandson, and a great grandson, and a great Lamech. So they're just using the same names possibly. But right here with Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem was Noah's son. Ham was not Noah's son. Look right here. Noah was 500 years old. Noah fathered Shem, Ham, and Japheth. From them come all these people. The sons of Japheth were all those people. The sons of Ham were all those people. Mizraim was one of the sons of Ham. Canaan, one of the sons of Ham. Okay. The sons of Shem, all these people. Oh, yeah. Shem, Arachad, Abram. So Shem had a bunch of kids that eventually led to Abraham. Pretty cool. We're going to go Matthew chapter 1 real quick. Oh, wait. I meant to go to Bible Gateway. In Ruth's day, were they thinking about all this? Probably. They seem to just have it in their head, right? He's like, hey, this is my son. This is Elimelech. I'm the closest kin. This is from Mali and Chilean. He just says it outright. Like maybe he's written it down. Maybe there was a bigger discussion. And then whoever wrote the story of Ruth wrote it down nice and tidy for us. Maybe they were like, well, no, but your son this, but no, but your son that. They discussed it, and then they wrote it down nice and tidy for us. There are parts of the Bible where it's like, well, people were coming to Moses all day, and Moses told them this, and this says exactly what Moses told them. Well, surely they deliberated a little bit, because people are coming to Moses all day long, Moses probably tired. It says Moses went in and talked to God. Now, God could have written exactly down, God can just speak what he wants to hear. People deliberate in the Bible, then they write it down nice and tidy, right? They did that in the New Testament. They're deliberating in this council. It says after much argument, they discuss the argument. They say, here's our thing. Then they write a letter to people, and they're like, this is what we've decided. Here's what it is. So please do it. There we go. That easy. Wait, why didn't you write down all the discussion and debate? That's just what they do. They discuss the debate. They discuss, they debate, they figure it out. Then they write it down nice and tidy for us. That could have happened here. They seem to have all the genealogy stuff right in their head. They seem to know exactly and that's why we're looking at all the genealogy stuff. Not so that we get it memorized in our head, but so we learn what it's like to discuss it. Genealogy of Jesus. A genealogy of Jesus. Let's see. Oh, let's go back to Luke. I'm sorry. Luke 3. I'll get it. I promise. Don't leave. Genealogy of Jesus. Okay, this starts with Jesus and goes back in time. All the genealogies we've been looking at have started back in time and come forward. But this starts with Jesus and goes backwards. That's forward, that's backwards. Forward, backwards. We saw Peleg a few minutes ago. Heber, because look, there's son Abraham. Okay. The son of Shelah, Canaan, with an I. Doesn't seem like it's the same Canaan, maybe. Arphaxad, Shem, the son of Noah, the son of Lamech, the son of Methuselah, son of Enoch, Jared, Mahalalel, son of Canaan with an I. There's some, the son of Enosh, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, son of God. Okay. So Adam had a son named Seth. Seth had a son named Enosh. Enosh had a son named Canaan with an I, who we're not told about. So it seems some of the genealogies include people. Some of the genealogies leave off some of those people. All right? That's just the way it is. It's the way they did things, right? Now, we were looking for Ephrathah, and Bethlehem. So now that we talked about genealogies a long time, and look at this. You go down here in the book of Ruth here, the original book we're looking at. A son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. Yay, he was the father of Jesse, the father of David. Oh, Obed, Jesse, David. There's a little miniature genealogy. Epilogue, Obed in the genealogy of David. Right here, the genealogy of David. Genealogy of David. David's genealogy. These are the descendants of Perez. Not the generations, because it's not telling us stories about the descendants, right? The descendants. Perez fathered Hezron. Hezron fathered Ram. Ram was the father of Amminadab. Amminadab was the father of Nahshon. Nahshon was the father of Salma. Salma was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed, we had with Ruth. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse became the father of David, King David, the David that slew Goliath. Saul was God, Israel. Israel's like, we want a king. God's like, here's King Saul. Saul messed everything up. God rejects him. God says, David, you're going to be king. Then David, awesome king, great king. God loves him. Made a few mistakes, probably more than a few, but a few major ones that are pointed out. But God said, David is it. He is the model. David is the man. That's why you got a genealogy going to David. It authenticates him. So genealogies are good for authentication. They want to make sure you are related. Remember, you want your name to pass on. So they want to make sure the important people are passed on from other important people. You want your name to, it's all about passing on the name, being in the family line. Nowadays, you see that. I have a friend named Epimino Chavez III. Epimino Chavez III. That means his dad was a junior, Epimino Chavez, and his grandfather was Epimino Chavez. And then, yeah. So we call him Epi. Everybody calls him Epi. Epi just had a son. His son's name is Epimino Chavez IV. You might have a son, Epimino Chavez V. That happens in a lot of ancient cultures. You go over to the Middle East, tons of people named Muhammad. Why? Muhammad, the prophet from Islam. They want his name to be remembered. It's important. That's just how they were. Today, in America, in a much different culture and society, genealogies, whoa, that's a fun, neat thing. Whoa, you did your genealogy? Oh, I do genealogies for a hobby. Hey, we'll pay for you to do your genealogy. Oh, really? That's kind of neat. It's kind of foreign. That's what those people do. Hey, let's do it. It'll be fun for in Arabia, over the Middle East, another country and culture. Genealogies are part of everyday life. Why do you think it's so special? So we're kind of out of the loop on genealogies. White people, if you get a junior, it hardly ever happens. My friend Epimino Chavez, he's obviously of a more traditional culture. He's Hispanic or Mexican. He's Mexican, right? So they tend to have those a lot. You want to authenticate it. But originally, we were looking at Bethlehem and Ephrathah. Let's try and find it real quick. Ephrathah, so 2:24. Okay, First Chronicles 2:24, First Chronicles 2:50, and then we'll go to 4:4. We'll see if all these Ephrathahs relate. They seem to, because Hezron and Caleb Ephrathah, after the death of Hezron in Caleb Ephrathah, or in Caleb. Well, that one is not capitalized, so I bet I'm going to try something. Control plus makes the screen bigger, because right here, control minus, that looks like a dash, and I think it's the same word, but it might be the next sentence because you go to the next line. There's one line, you go to the next line. So I can't tell what that dash is for, but if I hit control plus, after the death of Hezron and Caleb Ephrathah, Abijah, Hezron's wife, bore to him Asher the father Tekoa. I bet that's what it said. I bet Caleb Ephrathah is a place. Okay. Hezron, which is also a place name. You name places after people. You want your name to last. You name places. Why not name the land after people? The land of Canaan. Canaan was one of Noah's sons. Okay. Yeah. This plot of land right here. There are laws that say don't move the ancient boundary markers. Huh? They would put boundary markers, maybe stakes, maybe rocks, maybe a tree. Hey, don't go moving the rocks. That's your brother's boundary over there. That's your brother's land. You move. This is your land, your brother's land. Don't move the rock that way. So now you have more land. That's cheating your brother. That's obviously stealing. So you could name, this plot of land Caleb Ephrathah, why not? But normally they name cities and places, little places, the oaks of Mamre, and this En Gedi was a water where water flows, the springs of water, nice and refreshing place. So they named the place, lakes and bodies of water. Normally not sections of land though. This section, this. I don't think so. So after the death of Hezron and Caleb Ephrathah, let's change the order of the sentence. Abijah, Hezron's wife, bore to him Asher, the father of Tekoa. This was after the death of Hezron and Caleb Ephrathah. Okay, so Tekoa's father Asher was born from Hezron and Abijah, and this was all of that was after the death of Hezron and Caleb and Ephrathah. Okay, let's go. First Chronicles. Control minus. So now we got the little arrows. Chapter 2. Genealogy of David. Go down to David. Oh, hey. The sons of Israel. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. But Joseph, Levi was left out because he was a priest. Joseph was left out because he went down to Egypt, and then his two sons were adopted, Ephraim and Manasseh. So you take out Levi, the priest, and you take out Joseph, and you add Manasseh and Ephraim, you still got 12 tribes of Israel. All right. We're not going to get into that, though. What is that? 24. Right here. There's 24. We'll start 21 since there's a break. In this Bible, they put the break right here. Later, Hezron had relations with the daughter Machir, the father of Gilead. Wait, I thought Hezron's wife Abijah. Yeah, well, they had multiple wives. That's what they did back then. Hezron had relations with the daughter of Machir, the father of Gilead. Oh, wait. Maybe the daughter of Machir was Abijah. They did have multiple wives, though, whom he married when he was 60 years old. She bore to him Segub, father Jair, who had 23 cities in the land of Gilead, but Gesher of Aram took the villages of Jair from them. Oh, with Canaan's village, 60 settlements. 23 cities, 60 settlements. Huh? All of these were the sons of Machir, the father of Gilead. After the death of Hezron in Caleb Ephrathah, Abijah, Hezron's wife, after the death of Hezron. So they must have had relations. If I'm reading this correctly, Hezron must have had relations with Abijah, Hezron's wife. Bore to Hezron, Asher, the father to go. So Caleb Ephrathah is a city. It's a place, I guess. That's my assumption. Control F. Caleb. There's one Caleb, sons of Caleb. Caleb married Ephrath, who bore to him Hur. We saw Hur earlier. The sons of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah. The sons of Caleb. Caleb married a chick named Ephrath. And here it's named Ephrathah. So it's pretty fun to me. Figure it out. Caleb married Ephrath. So maybe the city Caleb Ephrathah was named after Caleb and his wife Ephrath. Probably. The name of the city. That's my guess. We could keep going further and further down this rabbit trail, but we've already gotten very far from the book of Ruth, except that in the background of the book of Ruth, genealogical stuff, the generations of the book of the generations of this is the book of Adam. These are the generations of Jacob / Israel. That's so confusing to have two names. One of them, a name that we are like, oh, that's a country, but it was the name of the person. No, the name of the person was Jacob. Why did God change his name to the name of a country? No, the country was named after his name. Well, why didn't they call it the land of Jacob? That's because God changed his name to Israel. So they call it Israel. See how confusing the Bible can be? But if we dissect it and we go into it, when we hit the confusing parts that we haven't completely figured out and haven't totally gotten, it's like an obstacle course. The Bible's like an obstacle course. If you've never done a real obstacle course, they're like really difficult obstacles. The first time you're running in an obstacle course, it's hard to get over a bunch and do a bunch of the obstacles. So you practice the individual obstacles. You don't run the whole thing every time. Sometimes you'll say, wait, I need to practice the one where I swing from a rope into a pit of sand and climb out or something, So you practice that one over and over again. You practice it in different ways. Maybe you just jump into the sand without the rope and you just practice climbing out of sand several times. So you're like, okay, you got a good grip on the rope. When you hit the sand, now you can climb, maybe, you practice different parts. So now let's run the entire obstacle course. So you hit all the obstacles, you come to the pit of sand, you grab it, you don't do perfect. You hit the sand, you could have climbed out, but hey, you got through it. You weren't near as scared anymore. You're better about it, you're not as worried. Hopefully, that's what it's like here. I've moved to several new houses, apartments, never bought a house. I've moved to several apartments, moved from city to city. I say several, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7. When I was a kid, we moved a lot too. We moved a few times also, We went to my grandparents, we have a new house, we moved to their house. My mom and dad lived separately. Then my mom moved to a new house, where we'd go to a new house. You see new places. When you first walk into the house, you have no idea where it's at. Coming from me and my wife, move from one town to another. We go into the new apartment. Wait, where's the restroom? Where's the living room? Wait, we just walked in. Where's the kitchen? Where's everything? We don't know. After a few days, we start being able to find out stuff. After many, many weeks, and I've cleaned and I've put stuff in the cabinets, I know where, I could walk in with my eyes closed, go over there, open the cabinet, there it is. It's how it is with the Bible. Do I still find new things in the place I've been living in for 7, 8 years now? For almost 8 years? I don't find many new things, but I clean all the places. So I wipe all the counters and the shelves off. I rearrange all the food in the pantry and such. Sometimes I've had to put out roach traps, so I have to get back in the nooks and crannies of our house. But there's still a lot about the house I don't know. I don't know plumbing. I don't know what it's like I ain't going to take up the carpet. I don't know about that. The Bible, when we first got in this book of Ruth, we're exploring it like it's a brand new house. Like it's our first time running through the obstacle course. Hopefully, eventually, we'll read it. You'll read it in the obstacles. While you might get nervous, while you might not be perfect at them, some of them you'll be able to zip right through. Some of them be a little bit, but the time of the obstacle course and you getting beat up, because obstacle courses often you have to climb and jump and you might fall and hurt yourself. You're climbing through something and you bang your head. Ow. Obstacle courses, they're that way, right? Living in a new house, yeah, hopefully you don't bang your head and stuff, but you'll get less hurt going through the book like you would in obstacle course. You'll get less confused, you'll be less nervous. And if I'm in one obstacle course and then somebody said, hey, let's run this other one, and there are 10 obstacles here, let's run this other one with 10 obstacles. Some of the obstacles in the other obstacle course will be very similar, or maybe even the same. Or at least I will be used to running up against stuff I'm not sure about. I'll be used to running, to climbing, to swimming, to crawling, to moving back and, like you got to move back and forth between skinny places. The obstacle courses, there'll be similar things I will be able to take from this obstacle course over to that one. I'll be able to take stuff from the book of Ruth that we're looking at here and take it to other books of the Bible. We've done that several times. It's so awesome that way. So we'll go ahead and dropped the Ephrathah and the Bethlehem. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord who has not failed to provide you today with a redeemer. May he become famous in Israel." Yep. Oh, we were up here. I'm sorry. I acquired Ruth the Moabite. All right, you witnesses. Okay. Verse 11. This is where I wanted to start out today. Verse 11. All those at the gate, including the elders, said, "We do. May the Lord make this woman come into your house like Rachel and Leah, who between them built up the house of Israel. Prosper in Ephrathah, bestow a name in Bethlehem." They live in the town Bethlehem Ephrathah. "With the offspring the Lord will give you from this young woman. May your house become like the house of Perez, who Tamar bore to Judah." We looked at that in the last video. I might look at it again next video. I'm already in this one. We're fixing to be done. Boaz took Ruth. When they came together, wait, I thought they already came together. Okay. Is it up here? No. It says, oh, okay. I acquired Ruth the Moabite. All those in the gates, may the Lord make this woman come into your house. Okay. Entering your home. May they make this woman enter your home. Okay. Now they're actually coming together. Boaz took Ruth. When they came together as husband and wife, the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she bore a son, Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah. Where's it at? Rachel and Leah, who between them built up the house of Israel. So Rachel and Leah had all the kids to make the house of Israel. Perez was born when Tamar and Judah had relations, and here, whenever they had relations, enabled her to conceive. Okay. Then the women said to Naomi, wait, what about Ruth? Remember, we're going back to Elimelech. Naomi is the wife of Elimelech. The women said to Naomi, the men were probably like Boaz, yay. But the women who we've been focusing on in this entire thing, remember in chapter 1, okay, we'll go over here so we don't lose our chapter 4. Chapter 1, go. Oh, watch Control F. Women. Took for themselves Moabite women. What's going to go? Do. All right. All right. Okay, here they go. Then they both. That's Ruth and Naomi. Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her. And so Naomi said no more to Ruth. Then Ruth and Naomi both went until they came to Bethlehem. Now it happened when they came to Bethlehem, when they had come to Bethlehem, all the city was stirred because of them. And the women said, "Is this Naomi?" Naomi said to them, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me." Naomi means pleasant. Mara, bitter. Yeah. The Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. But it was the women of the city who were all stirred up, right? And over here, then the women said to Naomi, are these the same women? Probably. They're in the same city, you know? Are they like a group of ladies running around? It probably just means, I lived in a small town, and we'd get together and we'd say, hey, all the guys are getting together. We'd mean our friends. We generally think of guys who kind of represented the city. We'd have concerts and all the guys would go. Football games in a small redneck town. Yeah, football games. All the guys are there. All the people are there. Hey, there's a salon. That's where all the women are. All the women in the town. Well, certain women don't even know that there's their salon. They could care less about the women in the salon, but they're kind of the representative. It's a metaphorical phrase. It's a stand-in for the women who are generally in the town and kind of represent the town. That's my guess. And then the women said, blessed is the Lord who has not failed to provide you, Naomi, today with a redeemer. Is Boaz the redeemer or is the son the redeemer? Seems Boaz. Wait. May he become famous in Israel. He will restore your life and be the support of your old age. For his mother, the redeemer, For his mother is the daughter-in-law who loves you. His mother is Ruth. Ruth is a daughter-in-law who loves Naomi, either you right here. So he will be your life and your support of your old age. When women got older, somebody had to take care of them. Their son did. She didn't have any sons. Her sons died. Malin and Chilean, they died. She's got nobody. She's going to die in old age with no one, nobody to take care of her. Now, Israel as a whole family, the whole nation of Israel should be one to take care of her. But people are selfish. I don't mean people are selfish as in Israel's not going to take care of her. I mean people are selfish as in the ladies here are saying, oh, you were going to die old and alone, but now you have somebody to take care of you. Naomi could have come back and said, no, I wouldn't have. The nation of Israel would have taken care of me. And the ladies, what would they have said? What would the women have said? I'm not sure what they would have said. But we can see here the women weren't even thinking of the nation of Israel as a whole family taking care of her. They were just looking at her saying, oh no, you're screwed. Oh good, you got somebody in your family to take care of you. They weren't thinking beyond themselves. They weren't thinking beyond Naomi's immediate family. That's a problem a lot of us have. The problem they had, But we can try and look at this in the situation they were in. They're very glad she's got somebody immediately close to her to take care of her. A redeemer redeems her life, who makes sure her life goes well, who makes sure her in her old age and her name goes on. Boaz is redeeming Ruth to make the family name go on. This child did nothing but is making the name go on. This child was born, right? The child didn't make a name for himself, except for the child did nothing, just being born. The child's a redeemer just by virtue of birth. The child makes a name go on. She, the daughter-in-law whom you love, is worth more to you than 7 sons. Yeah, 7, the big magical, the magical biblical number, right? 7, more to you than 7 sons. Naomi took the boy, cradled him against her breast, and cared for him. The neighbor women joined the celebration. A son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. She takes the boy like he's his own son. I'm going to take care of him. Now, Ruth. I just thought of something. We'll have to save this for next time. All right, guys. We'll go ahead and close it off here. That's pretty good, huh? Escape. Stop share. Pretty good, huh? I think so. All right, guys. You see my grainy face, my grainy picture, but who cares about that? All that matters is that God loves us, gives us kids, helps us prosper. And when he doesn't, we know that at the end, we'll all be with him. So it's okay. They looked at the very earthly things in the Old Testament. We have a heavenly place, we're told, in the New Testament. Pretty awesome, huh? All right, let's pray. Lord God, thank you very much for loving us, for being with us, for building us up and encouraging us with friends and family, for giving us kids, for giving us prosperity. And when we don't have it, Lord, just remind us that the best of all is that you are with us always. Your Son has redeemed us. He died for us. He rose from the grave for us, and he has redeemed us all. Thank you, Lord. Amen. We'll see you guys in the next very basic Bible. Coming to you from Basic Bible Headquarters in Round Rock, Texas. It's just my apartment. All right. Bye, guys.